Good morning, Phoenix Union, and happy Tuesday. We have Ms. Haggerty reporting live this morning on Time to Think About the Wide Blue Yonder, the world of out-of-state admissions.
Good morning. We'll get started in about a minute. We'll give you a little bit of time to sign into your Common App. We're going to be working on several of the sections. Some of them you might already have finished, and we'll want you to go back and just check out what you've put in against what some of our suggestions are. So let's go ahead and begin. The first thing I want to say is there is from the Mach 1 area at the Burden Bar Central Library, there's a request for teen volunteers. They need some help with the kids and teen arts and crafts area to do 3D modeling, printing, coding, robotics. Oh my gosh, what fun this could be. So if you're looking for a place to volunteer, to get some service hours, or this is just kind of your jam, well, here, find your people, including little people. And if you're looking for an internship, this might be another possibility that you might not have thought of before. Go ahead and scan the QR code below and you're all set. Next screen. And some of you are in the Be a Leader Club at your campus. If you are, you've already heard about the Taking Steps Toward College Success. That little walkathon is going to go from the Civic Space Park over to the National College Fair, which is in downtown. So if you're interested in this, contact your school club advisor, or you can also contact the Be a Leader Foundation. There's individual registration, there's school group registration. We'll give you more information on the next screen. So if you're interested in this, you can pre-register just by using the QR code below. The event opens at 9 a.m. Different schools are taking groups, and if you want to participate in it ahead of time, it's kind of fun. They do scholarship raffles, giveaways, dorm room makeover raffles, games and performances. It's a really fun event. If you haven't ever gone, absolutely, you might want to consider it. It's the Sunday right at the end of our fall break. Next screen. And then you would follow these steps. You would register and go to the College Going Resource Fair ahead of time. You would take that little walk from the Civic Space Park all the way to the Convention Center. And then at 11:45, from 11:45 to 3 o'clock is the National College Fair. There's about 200 schools that participate in this from all over the country. So if you're interested in going out of state, particularly if you're looking for schools that have great programs for your majors, you would want to go to this. You could go directly to the fair, or you can participate in this whole event. I got to tell you, the whole event is more fun. But if you're taking a parent, they might not want to do all the preliminary stuff. So you have to make a decision there. Next screen. And then you also want to register for the National College Fair. So that goes from, well, it says 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you get on the site, all you have to do is put in NACAC College Fair, and it comes up. You have to choose the Greater Phoenix one, which is in alphabetical order under G, not P. So, and it's also, you'll see Sunday, October 15th on it. But then all you have to do is click right where it says attendees register here. And if you scroll down on the page a little bit, You can also figure out which of these colleges might be the best match for you. I also want you to pay attention to this one really important thing. Once you've registered for this, you want to go up there and print your barcode so that either on your phone or in person, you've got a printed hard copy of your barcode, because when you walk up to each of the people working at the fair, all of those admissions folks, they want to scan your barcode so that you get on their college list or on their email list, and they'll send you information. Anyway, really fun. Definitely you want to do this. Next screen. So here are some of our upcoming senior advisory schedule, what we're covering. Today we're going to cover CommonApp, talk a little bit about the QuestBridge match ranking that's coming up. Today is the day that QuestBridge is due. I'm sure if you are a QuestBridge candidate, you probably already submitted your application, but the next thing up is QuestBridge, the match ranking. We'll also talk about the Common Application from timelines to different sections. On Thursday, we'll talk about in-state honors colleges, a little bit about the brag sheet, reminder on the Flynn, and some upcoming new scholarships. And notice there's this big break between 9/28, this Thursday, and the Tuesday after break. So next week is dead week. So we're encouraging you to study or to get extra help if you need it next Tuesday and Thursday before you head into your final exams for the final midterms. But then the Tuesday after break, we're going to preview the CSS profile. So we're going to go through that with you, and then we'll talk a little bit about the writing sections and the personal essay on the Common App. On the 19th, when we go back to our in-state focus, GCU will do a presentation. On the 24th, we'll talk about the CSS profile. So come prepared. We'll remind you about this on the 17th, but if you're an out-of-state candidate, and you're heading to one of the schools, one of the 400 schools that requires the CSS profile, or if you are an undocumented student who's applying to ASU, U of A, or NAU, you need to do the CSS profile, and we'll go through it with you. And on the 26th, we start shifting over to what you'll need for your federal student aid ID. We'll talk about something called Ask Benji, which is connected with financial aid. We'll look at portals, and then we'll also talk about Barrett, the Honors College at ASU, has a deadline, not a deal line, a deadline that's going to come up on the 1st of November. On the 31st, Franklin and Marshall College presents, and then on November 2nd, with everybody, in-state, out-of-state, doesn't matter. We're going to work on your federal student aid ID, which you will need in December. All right, so that's what's coming up. Next screen. Just a reminder, if you are interested in the Coca-Cola Scholars Foundation, well, I can give you 20,000 reasons why to be interested in it. All of them have a dollar sign. But that deadline will be coming up on Monday, October 2nd. So you really have to be closing the gap here and finishing your application. But you just need to be either a U.S. citizen or here in the States legally, intending to start your college in fall of 2024. Doesn't matter what college in the country you go to, you can apply the $20,000 scholarship to any college. Next screen. Now, if you are a Posse Semi-Finalist, first of all, congratulations, because that's not easy. It might seem like, oh, all I've done is, some talking. Well, that might be true, but Now it's time to get your CommonApp account up and running and add your Posse schools under My Colleges. So it's not just about what you're putting in into your interviews. Now it's also what you're putting onto your CommonApp. Don't forget the virtual Phoenix Posse schools are Case Western Reserve University, Center College, Cornell College, Davidson College, Rhodes College, St. Olaf College, and the University of North Carolina School for the Arts. Next screen. You don't have to put all of them on, but whichever of those that you're most interested. So I talked about this a little bit. QuestBridge, the application is due today, but that college match ranking deadline is going to happen while we're on break, Thursday, October 12th. So on that date, if you are planning on doing the college match, well, let's look at the top here, okay? In late summer, the application opened. Today is the 26th. You have to have submitted your application today to be eligible for the college match. On the 12th, you can rank up to 15 college partners. Some kids ask me, do I have to rank 15 schools? No, I would encourage you to rank as many schools as you would consider going to. So if I ranked 8 schools, then and the first 7 schools didn't match with me, it's my 8th school that did, I have to be emotionally and in every other way ready to say, that's my school. So don't put a school on your ranking unless you really are ready to commit to that school, okay? But you can rank up to 15. So it's a little bit like early decision, except with up to 15 schools simultaneously. On October 18th, you'll find out if you're a finalist, not for the rank, but if you're a finalist for your QuestBridge application. And then on November 1st, you have to submit the rest of your match requirements if you're doing the match. You don't have to do the match, only do it if you're ready to do it, but you might want to talk to your counselor about that. And just notice, you have to do, if you are doing the college match, you not only turn in your ranking that day, but you turn in your signed match agreement. One of those people who are connected to the match agreement is your counselor. So you want to make sure that before your counselor gets away from you, that you have, and he or she has gone on break, you have to get that signature. You can do it electronically, but I would tell you just get the actual physical signature, because if you're together, you'll have a chance to talk about the application, and that might give you an opportunity to ask whatever questions you haven't yet asked. Okay, next screen. And like I said, there are several methods for doing the match agreement. You can, the one I'm advocating is obtain all signatures in writing. To do it, you log into your Manage page, you click the Download Match Agreement Form button, you print it, and go one by one. You're going to need you're going to need to sign it yourself. You're going to need your counselor to sign it, and you're going to need a parent or a guardian to sign it too. Notice that all of that is also due on the 12th along with your ranking. Next screen. Another reminder that the Jack Kent Cooke Scholarship deadline is coming up also while we're on break. So if you're interested in this one, you've got all of break to work on it. You do this one through the CommonApp, but you have to select it under My Colleges. I know it doesn't even make sense to you, right? Jack Kent Cooke isn't a scholarship or isn't a college, but it is a foundation that you can select on the Common App. So the application for Jack Kent Cooke is the Common App. Okay, you can get up to $55,000 a year to attend any four-year undergraduate school. You can pursue any major. You also get personal advising about selecting a college and working through the financial aid. You have to be a senior planning to enroll in fall 2024. You need a minimum of a 3.5 unweighted GPA. And even if your family income is all the way up to 95,000, you are eligible. Next screen. Now, some of you are getting to the point where you are being contacted by schools and they're asking if you'd like to go through an alum interview or an interview with somebody from admissions. I would strongly tell you to go ahead and do this because it's a great experience. It can't hurt you. It can only help you. But if you're going to do it, I would go to the College Essay Guy blog and I would look up this exact screen. You might as well take a picture of it right now. It's 160 plus college interview questions from top universities. So you can already see what they ask. Before you do an interview, you should definitely prepare your answers ahead of time to these three questions. Why are you interested in our school? What do you want to study and why? And what interests you besides academics? Because remember, you might spend about 15 hours a week actually in a classroom there. The rest of it, you are engaging with people on campus. You're in clubs, you're in sports, so you are someone who is contributing to the entire college, not just to your classes. Next screen. Additionally, at the end of your interview, they're going to ask you if you have any questions for them. You should definitely prepare questions. Here are some questions. Some of them are personal that you can say to the person, what was the best part about this college for you? What was the worst part? What did you study? So if you have the opportunity to turn this more into a more interactive experience, we would tell you got to come prepared for some questions or with some questions. Some of them you can ask in a more personal way because if it's an alumni interview, they've got opinions about their school, but they also have opinions about their experience. But definitely also ask them questions that have to do with the faculty and academics. And don't forget to take a resume with you because that can be something that triggers questions on their part. Next screen. I want to talk about the admissions timelines. So you're familiar with rolling admissions, which is a little bit like speed dating. You just go ahead and submit your applications, and as soon as they can get around to it, admissions offices are going to respond. Those are all of our in-state schools. On the Common App, you're going to see that every school, pretty much, unless they're rolling admission schools, they're going to have a regular decision deadline. So there's no rush there. Most of that is January, maybe mid-January, maybe February. But then some schools offer one or more early action programs. Those are in red. So early action is kind of the best of both worlds. You apply early, usually November 1st, and it's a little bit like dating. Early action, you can apply to multiple schools. You can do it early, and then you find out, early. So you'll find out in December whether you've been accepted. And if you have all the way till May 1st to consider your options. If you apply early decision, it's a little bit like you're getting engaged to one school. You only do early decision with one school unless, remember this, unless you are applying through the college match through QuestBridge. Okay. But if your early decision is that you've been accepted, then that is the school you're going to. You have to withdraw your other applications to other private schools. And you're going to give them your answer immediately. If you are applying through restrictive early action, it is also usually a November 1st deadline. You'll find out early. What's restrictive about it is you can only apply restrictive early action to one school. There are about 7 schools in the country that do this. Most of the usual cast of characters that you could think of are the ones that do it: Princeton, Yale, Stanford, Harvard, Georgetown, MIT. Actually, MIT does allow you to wait on your commitment. Next screen. Now, if you want to make sure you know which schools in the country have some of the top rates, some of the best schools that are most generous, that give you some of the top percentages of acceptance, then check out the early admissions versus regular admissions rates, that sheet that we've printed out from 2023. You just click here. You're going to go on pxu.org, your future, and then even though it looks like this is just right under that, these are way down. So you have to scroll. You'll see highly selective colleges. Click here to get the most generous colleges and universities. And once you click there, it's going to look like this. Next screen. So we've color coded it. Some schools that are fantastic schools with pretty low rates of acceptance under regular admission. Well, if you apply through early decision or early action, you can see, man, their rates go way up. The ones in the 70s or 80s are in red. The ones in 50s or 60s are in blue. There's a whole bunch of them. So do your research early. This is one thing that you might really want to sink into over break. Next screen. Don't forget to find out what a school might cost by doing net price calculators. So you can use My Intuition, which has a ton of schools that all use it. It's about 6 questions long. You could also do that during break. It would be really helpful to you. But if you're thinking about early decision, especially because these schools will not yet have your FAFSA, then try to get an idea ahead of time. Is it affordable to you? Will it be affordable? Next screen. So we're going to start talking about the Common App. We're going to start off with the education section, and we'll look at honors. Go ahead to the next screen. And make sure that you have enabled your counselor to preview your Common App account. That way, if they see typos, misspellings, grammar, questionable grammar, if you've allowed them to preview, they can see it and they can give you some advice there. It's really important. Next screen. So now look at your information under My Colleges. If this is your counselor, then right under it, you would put Enable Preview. You just click there. It's that easy. Next screen. Under the education section, make sure that you're counting the number of classes carefully. So you've got probably 5 year-long courses. Then you've got advisory that's year-long. Then you might have econ, which is a semester. And then you might have government, which is a semester. That's, well, you can count it up. That's 8 courses. You don't have to put in advisory. If you don't put in advisory, put 7. Normally, I tell kids to put in everything. Just make sure that you put in the correct number here, because then it will give you that many spaces, okay? And put your hardest courses first. Next screen. Your future plans. Colleges are curious to know where you picture yourself after graduating college. So if you are thinking of a particular career in mind, go ahead and list it there. If it's not on the drop-down menu, select Other and enter your profession on the line provided. Remember, you can change your response. So if you submit to one school through maybe ED or early action, and then you want to keep working on it just in case that you're not accepted, then it's okay, even after you've submitted to the first school, it's okay to make changes to your Common App. Next screen. There are some tips for the honors and awards section. First of all, you have a max of 5 honors or awards that you can write about. Be brief, because you've got 100 character limit, not word limit, but character. Use phrases instead of sentences. Write out numbers instead of spelling out each numeral. And then include honor roll, academic achievement, anything like that. Next screen. List your awards in order of importance. So if you got an international award, that goes first, or a national award, that goes first, or then go down to state, then maybe a region or a district and school. So specify what the award means. Use really brief explanations. Emphasize selectivity. Well, were you the top person chosen out of your entire class of 103? Were you participating on the best team out of 4 teams or 400 teams? Explain your acronym, so if you're in doubt, that they know what it is. Like they know NHS. Most other things you got to spell out. You can pack multiple awards into one slot if they're connected. You can see the example here. And if your honor or your award included money, like you were granted $1,500 in seed funding, make sure that you add that in too. And if they flew you out, then put in all expenses paid trip, plus whatever else. Next screen. Here are some examples. So you might just take a look here. You can see how succinct they are. There's no extra characters, but with the additional, details, it makes it a lot stronger. Next screen. Here are some more examples. See how many times they put in numbers here? That just kind of tells you a little bit more. Next screen. Now, the activities list is hugely important, and we want you to state your role. There's a leadership description and the organization name in the top 2 sections, so that you don't waste characters when you get to the 150 character description section. Use active verbs. Don't be redundant. Absolutely, if you're still doing it, use present tense and trim words, save space. You don't have to have a complete sentence. Anything that is specific that can make it more tangible or measurable, use that. And anything that shows leadership skills, we want you to also include. Next screen. Here's an example. Use phrases instead of sentences. So this one is really long, but we want, notice here, 274 characters. It's so long that it won't all fit, okay? You've got to tighten it up to get within that 150 character limit. Notice how the word art club is not anywhere in here. Okay. Next screen. Use strong action verbs. So instead of looked after, thought of, was in charge, supervised, brainstormed, oversaw, mentored, encouraged. Next screen. Any quantitative description that you can put in, it strengthens it. So you might have to really think about what you've accomplished in your clubs. Next screen. Avoid redundancy. So I shouldn't see cross country up here and then cross country here. Okay. Next screen. You can find help in College Essay Guy's blog on 80 plus extracurricular activity examples for the Common App. You can also get to this by doing College Essay Guy activity list. It'll pop up too. It's probably the best thing I've seen. It's very long, but you got to just scroll down to the bottom so that you can look at examples as you're working on yours. Next screen. Here are some examples. Just a tip, do these in order of importance to you. So on the activities section, whatever is most important to you, whatever activity you really care about, those go at the top. Next screen. And a reminder, so here's the profile, family, education, testing, activities, writing. Whoop. Down here is the courses and grades section. You probably will not need to complete courses and grades unless one of your school requires it. So for most students, unless you're applying to Amherst, Stanford, you're probably not going to see it. Swarthmore also asks for it too. And then notice as you're working on this section of inputting your grades and your course titles, if you have questions, just utilize the Q&A help right there. Next screen. If you need help with your Common App, just reach out to College Depot. Remember, while we're on break, they're not. So they're available to you outside of our regular advisory time and outside of the regular school day. You can also touch base with your school counselor before break. Have a great rest of your quarter. Finish strong, and we'll see you on the backside after we come back from break. Bye-bye.
Nicely done, Terry.
Whew. Okay. All right. That's a lot to cover. I think
Yes.
I kind of overestimated that one. But they know where to find it, hopefully. So I don't know that you're getting any questions right now at the